Welcome to the Crit House, everybody. I'm Jeff Larson, and we today are going to take a look at American truckers. We have Jason Dailey, who is with us. He comes from Lawrence, Kansas, from America's heartland, and he has a series called American Trucker, a series of portraits on that field. Ellen Friedlander is one of our reviewers here today. She is an LA-based fine art and documentary photographer. I will plug her book. Her book is called Extended Frame, and I have seen it online. I haven't seen it in person. I'm still waiting for that. And then we have Juan Murray, a very good friend of mine. He is a Boston-based street and fine art photographer as well. Juan's work has been shown throughout the Boston area, including at the Leica Gallery and at the Griffin Museum of Photography. Mr. Murray, it's nice to have you. Ellen, it's great to have you, and Jason as well. So Jason, you are in the middle of America, and you have this project called American Trucker. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the work, and then maybe what it is, what kind of feedback you're looking for?
Yes, thank you, and thanks for having me on here. I appreciate all the all the information I can get on this, and all the as much as I can talk about it. I'm happy to. So I'm for about 20 years, I've been doing photography as a commercial and editorial photographer out here in Kansas City area. And, just staying busy with that stuff. And of course, once the pandemic rolled around and things slowed down, I started looking to find opportunities to go photograph. And I was intrigued by all of the things that we still had available, mostly, and the people that were bringing them all to us. And I know that they were out there just available and out working the whole time. So in about late 2020, mid to late 2020, I started going out and catching these guys at the truck stops and just introducing myself and talking to them a little bit and getting a little bit of their story, spending some time photographing them, and then later interviewing some of them, getting an audio interview. And so, I've been kind of doing that off and on for about 1.5 years now, almost 2 years. And, at first it was just, okay, I'm intrigued by this. And then it was, the more that I heard their stories, the more I realized how essential they are to everything that we have and everything that we just walk down to the street and grab at the store. So at this point, I'm just trying to figure out, I was just collecting, for a while I was just collecting. I'm at a point now where I'm really leaning into it. And I'm just looking for a little bit of feedback on kind of what I've done, where I've been, and where, how should the portraits change at all, or are they where they should be? So I'm just kind of looking at how how I kind of move forward on this, and do I need any other photos other than the portraits themselves?
Well, that's a great summary, and it's as we're looking at the images, some of them are really quite spectacular. So nice work on this. I guess one of the interesting things for me is also just like where the world of trucking is going. We're in this time in the world right now as we record this in late spring of 2022, that the supply chain is a problem. There aren't enough truckers to be able to do the job. The trucking job itself may be going away just because of the autonomous vehicle future that is coming up. So it's a really interesting document in time. So congratulations on the work. So let me turn it over to our smart people, our experts. Ellen, what's your initial thought about the work that you're seeing? Any comments? What's your reaction?
Well, I love the work. I think that I have been privy to see this work before at Pasadena Photography Arts Open Show, which was wonderful. So it's really lovely to see it again. I want to go directly into what you were talking about, how you can push the work. I'm just curious, have you photographed inside their cabs at all?
Well, actually, I just did today, and I really, like I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of got like a second wind almost in this right now, and I think the weather's perfect out here, and it's not too hot, it's not too cold. It's been really great. So I've been out almost every other day or so. So I've got a lot of film coming back. And I started that with these latest rolls, is getting some landscapes of the space where they are, where I'm finding them so far. Some details of maybe what they bring with them, any kind of good luck charms or anything like that. And yes, some of the interior,
Right.
Which is a little bit difficult. They look big, and there's plenty of room in there if you have to, if that's your apartment for a week or two. But I'll have to find a kind of a good way to really help illustrate kind of what it looks like. So I've been trying to jump in there a little bit.
Because that pushing this portraiture to include pieces of their gear and pieces of what they bring as an inanimate object that they have, like the dog, or what the dog needs, and just kind of taking the objects and the cab and giving it more of a fuller dynamic breath to the portrait would definitely be taking it another step versus just the people. What do you think, Juan?
I couldn't have said it any better. I think the series is fantastic. I love how you utilize both color and black and white in the images. What I was thinking is I wanted to have a deeper sense of intimacy with your subjects. And what you mentioned, Ellen, about getting inside the cab and taking it and pushing it, pushing the work more, was exactly what I was thinking. I think this is an incredible start, like this one here. If you stop on that one, that's number 7. That's kind of getting into a little bit more personal, intimate space, and I want to see more of that spun in within what you have here. So yeah, I couldn't have said anything differently, but thank you.
The other idea or question I have for you is, like, when you're doing this, you have this opportunity with and I know I've kind of done similar type of things. Are you photographing their hands? Are you photographing maybe the way they're standing, without a person in the photograph? You've already got you've got the portrait, and now it's just little bits of personal, maybe how they're gripping or a little bit close without a face, just to kind of make the viewer, if it works, see a different part of that person. And it could be in combination with the portrait, but these other elements add another viewpoint and kind of more of a mystery to this person.
So I have a question. We're looking at the grouping right now, and Juan had mentioned that he likes the intermix of both color and black and white. But I know that there's some people who that is confusing because it's a less coherent body of work. And so I guess my question is that does it work that way with both color and black and white? Does there need to be a consistency between the two? Does there need to be a choice? I guess, Juan, you've already said you like it.
Was that question for me then?
Well, I think it's for both of you, but you had stated yeah, that you like the mix of the color and the black and white. The reason being is I feel more
intimate with the character in black and white because there's less of the other stuff going on, less of the color, but mixing color to kind of show the landscape. And I think really, if you're at a truck stop, what I'm immediately struck with are all the colors and all the types of vehicles that are there. So that kind of brings me to that place. But then going a little deeper with regards to getting more intimate, I love the way the black and white does that. And I also, with, let's say, number 8, I want to be closer to the gentleman, but I feel as if I'm being blocked by the truck and the lettering, etc. Like my eyes are going in different places. But I love how he's standing. And what's crazy, is that a gas over to the right here, underneath the red and white, how that kind of echoes his hand and the cane. Anyhow, that's just something. But yeah, did I answer your question?
But you did, yeah, thanks. But Ellen, so what's your,
Okay.
I mean, what's your thought about the,
So
if it's a full project?
Yeah, I would. So if I was going to do black and white and color, I would want to actually be more intentional about the black and white and color, and potentially use the black and white and color in the same, with the same couple or the same person, so that you're getting the black and white and you're getting that personal, that like the man, what is it, number, the bearded man in that, just through the window, which is a beautiful portrait. It's soft, and you don't know, yeah, there he is, number 17, and his gaze off. Now if you shot him in color on the other page and you had like his personal items in color, if you kind of did maybe the portrait in black and white and all his personal items in color, or the reverse, the person in color and all the personal items in black and white, all of a sudden you have this kind of interesting dialogue. The viewer is now going to get deep dive in. Oh, now I got to look at the color one way and the black and white another way. And it just creates more of a dynamic conversation and more full-bodied.
So Jason, when I was asking that question, you were sort of acknowledging, looked like something you thought of. Is that, what have you been going through in your thought process of the color versus black and white?
Yeah, and that's definitely a question that I had, and I'm glad you brought it up. You know, I think that I started this in black and white just because that's what I had, and that's what I could go and develop myself quickly and get it done. I could go do the work and I could see it immediately, and then I could kind of respond, you know, within hours or within a day or two. And then, you know, I think mostly because partially because the labs were so backed up that I couldn't get film for weeks at a time. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to do this myself. And I did like some of the black and white that I was capturing. It turned out great. Like this gentleman, I think Russ here, I think this is one of my favorite shots. Once I started doing color a little bit more, I kind of liked that as well. So I didn't want to dismiss the earlier work that I was doing with the black and white, and then I was jumping in a little bit of the color. So I did start pulling from both kind of both stocks in both times that I was out shooting, and I have heard that, you know, you mentioned that it put some people off. I don't know that it bothers me necessarily. I appreciate what Ellen said about having it be a little more intentional, and you know, and kind of force that issue. So here, you know, here's this, look at it in black and white with that kind of, you know, with that emotion, and then here's color, and look at that with, you know, with that, you know, a little bit of color dazzle, I guess. So yeah, I'm curious as to myself, how I guess people respond to it. I don't mind it. I think some of the shots like this one, I love this kind of pastel look we got in the open shade there, and then the gentleman number 4 there. I think that was great. I think that it just really it really boils everything down to that truck and this man here. So,
but I do want to know more. I want to have a little bit personal. I think when you go in and you're just said you're having interviews and you're talking to them, even if it's just one line that you captured of something poignant that they said, I never sleep. This is something I've always been passionate about. Being on the open road is how I see myself, whatever. So that you're kind of giving us a little bit of an insight, even with, honestly, I think it could just be a sentence that just changes our involvement with the portraits, that makes it personal. I think personal is like the most important thing. I also want you to get closer, even if you have to put a longer lens on there, 70 to 200, and just switch it up and kind of go, oh, I'm just going to get the eye or the hand, or, because their eyes are tired. They're on the road forever. They're gripping the wheel forever. It's a hard journey. And so I'd like to feel that grit.
So Jason, the project is both audio and visual here. We're not looking, because it's a photo grid thing. We're not seeing or hearing the audio. Is that something you cover by capturing the audio and having that piece of this? Is that just something we're missing in this conversation because it's a photography thing?
Well, so typically what I do, let me know if this answers your question. So what I do is I catch them out at the truck stop. I approach them and I talk to them about it. They either don't want to do it, they're in a hurry, or they're willing to kind of give me some time. And then I gather all their information and we talk a little bit, maybe 5 minutes or so, just to kind of put them at ease. The more that I do this, the more truckers I meet, the more I can talk their language, and we can kind of get down to, I feel like I can get them relaxed a little bit sooner than I could when I just started. So after I collect their information and we do the portraits, I will call them later. Some of them have been on the road and some of them have been at home. Some of them have been in what's called detention, when you have a load and you take it and you're trying to drop it off, but you're just waiting at the loading dock to load or unload. So I'll call them and we'll talk for probably 40 minutes, and then I'll kind of cut that down to what I think are the important things that they've said, and to about maybe a 6 or 7 minute conversation. Well, they're more like it's not so much a conversation. It's like they're just telling us these things, and at least that's the way that I'm feeling it. It's going, because I kind of cut myself out of it, and I just put the things that they say. I put a little background audio on it, and then I've put it to some kind of like highway driving video that I've captured. So those are actually on my website now, and I think that I'm doing that to get, like Ellen mentioned, to kind of get a little bit of a deeper understanding about really what it is what their life is like. What are their, what are the issues? What are the outside forces that they are concerned with? So I think a lot of this, I'm kind of gathering it for either gallery presentation or something, right, like I said, right now it's living on the website. It's there to kind of view, to kind of hear what they have to say. I have found it a little bit difficult finding a way to combine these still images with their quotes and some of the audio. You know, it feels like, I think that there can be a flow through an online gallery, but I don't know if I have enough yet, you know, information yet, enough images and audio to kind of turn this into a more of a multimedia interactive thing.
It sounds kind of silly maybe, but I'm wondering even their signature. You know, if you got their signature on a white piece of paper and you could have a signature, because I'm sure there's some interesting signatures. And if you had them write something, and then you had the photograph of any, and you had their name in their own handwriting, right there is also like grit.
Yeah.
Well, you're
Yeah,
adding
that's
you're adding a lot of complexity with the audio and the quotes and all the different pieces to try to make it all work together. So I mean, there's that one thing of, well, I'm just going to show a bunch of images, which is hard and challenging enough to tell a story that way, and then you add all of those different layers on and try to make it interesting. That's a huge task.
That's what I've discovered.
Yeah, you know, as I'm just looking through the images, and we've been scrolling through them all along. I have to say, for me, who shoots exclusively black and white, I'm more moved in general by the color images than the black and white. You know, this one is very strong. I like it a lot. I know Juan was talking about this one as being a good moment. This one. This is fantastic, and this guy with the family, yeah, that's a lovely image. It's really well done. That's a very strong black and white for me. But you know, as I'm going through it, I keep going to the color images as being the ones that really attract my attention. Just throwing my 2 cents in there.
Saw them, like you're saying, Jeff. We just saw the color photographs because the color palette is very soft and muted, and these are not soft or muted people. So that's a really interesting juxtaposition that you have them in this soft palette and they, you know, diffuse light. And we know that they're anything but soft and gentle, perhaps.
Yeah, so I just moved them around a little bit in the slideshow just to show the color ones together. I think they're really, they look great together. Because in the slideshow initially, I was showing sort of them mixed in with the black and white, basically in the same way they sent them to me. But I think it's a great color project. All right, well, so last thoughts, Juan. What do you think? Anything more to add?
Not necessarily. I think most of it's been said. I enjoy the project, and I'd love to see it be fuller. Whether it's, you know, straight color or color in black and white, but I think there's a lot to be gained by going deeper and getting a little bit more emotional, or not necessarily emotional, but intimate with the subjects, is what I would like to see. But I think it's a great project.
Ms. Friedlander, your last piece of wisdom?
Well, I totally agree. I mean, I loved the work when I saw it a couple of weeks ago, or whenever it was we were first introduced. I love it today. I love the whole idea of documenting anything. So, you know, that's a wonderful journey you're on, and it's exciting to see it.
I agree. Jason, do you have any last thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, I don't think so. I think I appreciate all the insights and suggestions, and I think that is what it needs. I do think that it just needs to have some kind of intimacy there. So yeah, so that'll be the next challenge for this. But as far as I know, you know, I'm just going to kind of keep plugging away at this until I kind of fit it into what I'm looking for in it.
some point you'll figure out when where there's anything. We look forward to seeing where it goes. Maybe we'll catch up with you another time when there's some more progress there. So thank you for showing the work. It takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there. So for those of you who are watching, if you want to help Jason with your own input, then you can do that in the comments down below. We encourage you to give your thoughts on the work. I would like to ask, because we have had some knuckleheads, we would like you to be thoughtful and kind in your, we don't have to be mean. If you are interested in showing your own work here and having your work reviewed on the Crit House, then you can do that at this link below at crithouse.com. We'll include that in the links down below in the comment section. And of course, you can follow us on Instagram at the Crit House. Thanks, Ellen and Juan. Greatly appreciate your thoughtful input. And we're going to be linking to a video that Ellen did a couple of years ago, I guess. I'm not sure when this was done. Ellen, the Pasadena Photo Arts Forum presents Ellen Friedlander's Habits, Creativity, and the Now. Thank you all for watching the Crit House.